Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It has been a minute or three since my last installment on the channel, but today's project is building a topside creeper for my RAM3500. So instead of having a bottom creeper where you just like wheel yourself under the vehicle, top creeper, for those of you who aren't familiar, I'm going to be taking my front hitch, which you may have seen that project. I built a front hitch for the Ram. I'm going to come out of the front nose there, come back up over the top here with the hood open, and I'll be able to make a lay down, kind of sit down area up in there over that taller engine compartment for my old ass, so that I can get up there and do some modifications per se. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So today I went down to my new favorite store, Metal Supermarket here on Hempstead Highway in Houston, and I bought a variety of different lengths of their cut-off aluminum stock. So this stuff over here, we got some 1/4 inch. So this one's going to come out of the trailer hitch itself. Then I've got some cheaper 1/8 inch type stuff. Another piece of 1/4 inch here, and then a bunch of 1/8 over here. Some 1/4 inch, this might be third, I don't know, I have to measure that stuff out. But anyway, I wanted to get some bracket material, basically something I can kind of reinforce some stuff with if needed. And the general gist of this is going to be, I'll take this, hopefully with my garage door shut I can show you. I'm going to take this 1/4 inch material and shove her in there. It's about 5.5 inches, just short of 5.5 inches till it dead ends in the back. So I'm going to come out of here, kind of weighing this project. I don't like to draw up a whole lot of plans because, you know, I'm a Finlander and I don't think we like to plan, generally speaking. So I think I'm going to come out of here somewhere around maybe like, I don't know, man, somewhere between a 12-inch extension, 10-inch extension or something. Then we'll go vertical from there. The problem is that this square steel pipe that I used is just, man, I mean, it's just shy of 2 inches. And then plus there was the welded seam on the inside, which I chiseled out most of that so I could get my cargo rack in there already. So it's pretty smooth up in there. But I've got to round off the corners of this square aluminum, and we're going to start over on that. So I drew out a line on this 2 inch here at 5.5 inches, which will give me just a little bit of a reveal basically when I'm done. So that hitch should bottom out right about a 1/4 inch or so before my line. And then I've already started this area here. So what I'm using is the old Black Hawk aluminum sanding disc. I think this was 40 grit, 60 grit, and it's making quick work out of this. So we'll just keep on beveling these edges, just kind of rounding them off until I get a good fit inside of that 2 inch receiver hitch. All right, so we'll give this a try. Do a little dry fit here, see if it goes in there, no problems. So we're a little past the 5.5 inch mark. Also kissed all the surfaces just a little bit, just to kind of give it a little better look, you know? I mean, anyway, I'll do that up the whole shank and see what it looks like in the end. Let's see if this thing actually fits first though. The quick answer is no, it does not fit yet, so I'm gonna shave down a little bit more. You can see like on the end here, I mean, I barely kissed that diameter, that 1/4 inch, so we're gonna get a little more aggressive on this thing and take off some meat. Let me show you what I'm thinking here anyway, as far as trying to control this. So what I'm trying to do is hit it on 2 angles, like, you know, like a 22.5 or something, and a 22.5, and make a knife's edge there, if you will. You see the nice sharp edge, sharp-ish. So anyway, so I wanted to stay kind of even alongside this side of the blade, if you will, and even along the other side, and then I'll finish that so I know that I've got a reasonable symmetry between these two. And now I'll just shave this thing round. I'll do that on all the sides. Basically, I'm coming in maybe 3/16 of an inch, maybe a little bit over that on each of those blades, if you will, and we'll start there. All right, so I think we might have beat that one into submission. It's not, perfectly symmetrical, of course, but we've taken off a decent, respectable amount of meat off there. Let's see if this one fits. All right, so I'm starting to feel like it's actually going to end up being a outside diameter issue as well. It is, man. I mean, it's sliding in the neck, but sure, it's going to get caught on the inside lips here. So I think all I need to do now, it does appear that we have fitment between the rounded edges everywhere I'm looking anyway. It's kind of dim in here. I'm gonna have to take off a little bit more meat aggressively on each of these, like maybe I don't know, 16th, 32nd or 16th on each of those wide edges. To do that, I'm gonna go ahead and change my aluminum flapper again to a fresh one. It just takes down the outside diameter a lot quicker. Okay, so that was a heck of a lot more grinding than I thought it was going to be. What I ended up having to do is, if you can see a little bit here, I had to take down, I would say I took down a good 16th of an inch on every single side. Close to it anyway. And then also, because of the inside weld seam on that 2-inch steel tubing that this thing's going to be sitting inside of, I just had to kind of cut out a little bit of a rut, if you will. I probably could do a little better on that, but this did fit down in there. You can see the black spray paint that's inside the neck of that. It kind of cast off right here a little bit in this central area here, a little bit down the middle, and so little scrapes here. So I'll finish that off, kind of touch up those areas that it showed itself, and make this a little bit better fit. This thing is pretty hot right now too, so it's expanded, of course, inside that hole. So if I let this cool down, it probably would fit just fine. Okay, this should fit, even with it being hot. Yeah, so we're good to go. Let me measure that out to make sure that we got our full depth basically plunged into there, and we're definitely nice and straight. That's the major point on that. Let's see, so there's the mark. Let's see if we ended up decent. It looks like it. So yeah, we are 5 inches and 3/8 exactly. 5 inches 3/8. And if I remember it, that's the measurement. So 5 inches, 1, 2. Yeah, so we're bottomed out inside of there. So this will be our stub, if you will, to start the project. Now you can get a better idea of what we're going for here. So now we'll come up and across underneath this hood. And as I come vertically here, come up here, I'm also going to do some of that cross bracing on both sides to probably from down here all the way, maybe even do some intermittent banding just to support that weight. I mean, this could go down in history as being an absolutely terrible idea to use aluminum. I don't think it will. Once I get my vertical in here, as long as I don't cantilever that too far, I want to stay as tight as I can. It doesn't make any sense to go wide on there, you know. So I want to come up maybe, yeah, I'll probably actually cut this guy off and come up to here, maybe even a little bit closer, then less chance of this thing actually flexing and bending. I just want to leave enough area here that I can put some banding in there to stabilize that a little bit more, because my welding skills are horrible on aluminum and steel. So that's what we ended up with right here. All right, there's our approximate location that we're gonna fire off in. Let's see if I can show you this banding that I'm talking about. The strapping. So what I want to do is try to do some type of a reinforcement here. I'll probably just come down as close as I can to that 2-inch collar. I'll come on this side and weld a good brace there. Same thing on the other side. And then as I head back this way, I can also do a secondary angle brace up there, just to give this big cantilever some support. What I was hoping to do is branch off of this, if I can figure out exactly what I want, come off like at an angle this way, an angle this way, to make a little bit of a triangle here before my very short pedestal, just as a support structure. Let me grab a piece here, show you what I'm talking about, hopefully. So I may kind of come off this, cut an angle like yo. I think we're going to retain lateral stability just fine with that strapping that I'm talking about. Problem is, yeah, I guess if I bird's mouth these things just right, I could do that. Man, I'm such a shitty welder though. So it may actually be better for me to top weld and reinforce this whole thing with probably a triangular plate. I'm thinking is the way I'm going to go, just to get some serious buckling stability out of here. I weigh in at $195, $195, so not terrible as far as, I'm not putting 300 over the top of this thing, so I think I'm going to be fine. And also somewhere in here probably lays a bracket that I might even be able to, because a lot of stuff's going to disappear. Like this whole shroud is going to disappear here. I'm sorry, you probably can't see what I'm talking about. Sorry. This shroud right here is going to be gone because I'm putting a monster RAM air in here, and this piece does not get returned to service. So it might even be that I can repurpose this bracket that holds this on. I think that's all that does, to land this device on, just to take a little stress off this thing. So we'll see. It's a work in progress, and of course I don't like to make a plan for anything, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so ready for weld number one. I decided to go ahead and use the 1/4-inch material for the outbound leg out of the hitch, and then also the 1/4-inch thick material for the first vertical post, hoping that this all works out in the end. I may end up having to go back and buy more straight up 1/4-inch stock instead of this 1/8 inch. It just, I'm afraid that the 1/8 inch thick might just be a little too flimsy, cantilevered as far as I'm going to be doing it. So each of these weld areas around this vertical, they're all beveled to roughly a 45. The top side of the receiver hitch portion, as well as the bottom edges of this one. This has kind of a natural contour to it, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill that. You know what? I take that back. I'm going to go ahead and grind this one out and the one on the other side for the receiver hitch portion there. I kind of neglected that. And nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to blow that wall out with aluminum, just fill the living crap out of it basically. And in my worst case scenario here, is the way I figure is I can always, just to reinforce my own welds, I can take a piece of plate and just, you know, weld it on there. And yeah, I already screwed this up. I cut it a little bit too short now that I'm looking at it. I don't have any room to do a damn a bracket, an angled bracket on the bottom section. So yeah, that will be my maneuver, is I'll scab on a vertical piece, rectangular piece if I need to for reinforcement of my weld that's certainly going to turn out looking like crap. Definitely be great to plate this at a minimum on the end, number one, to cap this off just for aesthetics, but also just for rigidity. That'll definitely beef that up enough, and there's no way in hell that thing's going to break to begin with. Okay, so here's where we're at so far. We've got the part that goes into the receiver hitch. Then we've got the up tube, and that's just going to be, that's also 1/4 inch. And then I put we got the weld all the way around here with my spool gun. So that's why the welds might look a little boogery, and I was maybe a little cold on some of those. But so what I did is I took a 1/8 inch backer plate and put it on there also, and just welded the living crap out of it all the way around. Number one, to ploy off the hole just for aesthetics on the other side of this, and then number two, to reinforce this weld. So I've also did a double weld in here. I'm almost positive I did a double weld. I can't even remember, to be honest. So if I need to, I can always do another plate here and another plate on the other side if I feel like that's, you know, if there's any possibility of breaking that off. There's just not going to be. It's just a ridiculous amount of weld on here for, you know, 190 pound load. And then the last stage before I try to, you know, figure out my decking and stuff is coming off of this the top here. So the truck plugs in here, and come across the top. Now I got to come across here. I'm going to put a T at the top. I'll explain that in a second. But I've got the edges of this 1/4 inch beveled really well, so I can get a nice, strong, thick bead of weld down into there. So I'm going to be welding 1/8 inch onto 1/4 inch. So with this, I'm gonna go ahead and go right at the middle of my 1/8 inch thickness range and just heat soak the living crap out of this 1/4 inch, and I'll drag it into my my 1/8 inch after I'm nice and warm there. Okay, so far I'm liking it. For not really planning it out, it's I think it's going to turn out decently. Got a lot of schwabble in there, so I'll probably shim that thing down there. And then also, of course, I got to pin it, which will stabilize it a lot. I'll just drill the hole so that it's exactly the right, you know, size for it, and it'll stabilize. So I'm going to take some 1/4 inch thick 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch strapping, and I'll come down on both this side and tag it in here, probably tag it down in this area, both sides, and I'll do the same here. I'll just come up, you know, wherever I have clearance basically, and I'll put a strapping on this side and the other side to just kind of reinforce that so that this can't snap off with weight at this one. I also probably, yeah, I'm very likely I'm gonna grind these welds down flat right here and on the other side, and I'll do a similar piece of this 1/4-inch plate. I'll plate this and I'll plate this, or I'll just take a piece of triangular plate more than likely and just weld the whole dang thing on there. Then there ain't no way in heck that thing's coming apart. For this, I'm thinking I may just lay some ribs across here, like here, here, and here, and that will create a deck surface. I'm not sure how I'm going to shape it yet. Sorry, I'm a little bit off cam here. So I'll come across here some ribs, and then I can put a real nicely contoured, I'll cut out a piece of plywood, deck it in maybe like, not this stuff and not this horse mat here, but some of that cheap gym floor crap that you can buy at like Costco or something like that. I'll double up on that, maybe wrap it in a little bit of vinyl and staple it on the back side, and I'll have myself a little deck to theoretically be able to lay across this thing and access everything fairly nicely. This stuff up front here, not too bad at my height to reach, you know, but it's getting back into here, kind of overkill, but also kind of a fun project to build. And as I'm looking at this, it's occurring to me that I wonder if I should weld on a piece that extends out of this side as well, that I can reverse the trailer hitch in. No, it probably won't have clearance. I was going to say, and then I was going to think, what can I put on the front of here? But there's really nothing I can put on the front of there now I'm looking at it, so disregard that part.